A very good morning to all of you. I am Raghbendra Kumar Singh from the Department of English, GLA College, Daltonganj. This class is meant for the students of English Honours Semester 3rd. My dear students, today I am going to share with you some of my knowledge with regard to phonetics and its branches. Phonetics occupies a very important place in the field of the study of linguistics. But what is linguistics? What are its branches? Will be discussed here in this class. But before I share with you some of my knowledge with regard to phonetics and its branches. I would like to quote some of the lines of a poem, and those lines are: if you want in the plant, mark these lines. If you want in the plants, leaves be green, flowers bloom, and it be laden with fruit, pour water into the root, pour water into the root. What is the meaning of these lines? Boys and girls, the literal meaning of these lines is that if we want that flowers or the plants or the leaves or the something related to plant should look green, or the flower should be very attractive, where lies the fundamental? The fundamental lies in the root. If the fundamental of the plant is in the root, the fundamental of the leaves is in the root, the fundamental of the fruit is in the root, the fundamental of the flower is in the root. Similarly, if we want to understand properly phonetics and its branches, we shall have to hit the fundamentals. And the fundamentals lies in the study of language and linguistics. If we are able to understand these two terms, if we get some conception regarding language and linguistics, it will facilitate the process of understanding the term phonetics. Let us talk about language. Language is God's best gift to human beings. Without language, human civilization would not have been possible. And language is present everywhere. Language is in our feelings, it is in our sentiments, it is in our emotions, it is in our everything. Language is in our dreams, language is in our aspiration, language is in our rituals, in sanskars, in our communications, in our traits, in our victories, in our sorrows and joys. And as far as the utility of language is concerned, language is an instrument of thinking. Language is a means of communication. Language is a storehouse of knowledge. So language is very much important on the part of the survival of human beings here in this world. The sum and substance of all these things is that language is a powerful weapon with the help of which a human being is ruling on this world. Here in this context, I cannot resist the temptation of giving the definition of a great linguist from ancient India, and his name is Patanjali. According to Patanjali, language is that human expression which is uttered out by speech organs. Boys and girls, the sum and substance of the conception regarding language is that language is a means of communication. So the first fundamental we have understood as to what language is. Language, in a common man's language, language is a means of communication. Now, let us talk about linguistics. The word linguistics has been derived from the Latin word lingua, and lingua means tongue, and sticks means knowledge or science. Linguistics, thus, is the scientific study of language. In other words, we can say the scientific study of language is called linguistics. There are 5 components of linguistics. They are phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, and semantics. Let us discuss phonetics now, because now we have got some conception in connection with language and linguistics. Now it will be easier for us to understand phonetics. Phonetics is in fact one of the components of linguistics. Phonetics is the part of linguistics which studies sound, and the word phonetics has been derived from the word phon, which means sound. It means phonetics is the science of the study of speech sound. In order to make this idea clear, so that the conception of phonetics should go to our mind, let us take 3 words from English language. Those 3 words are bat, skin, and spoon. In the first word, bat, 3 letters are there, and those 3 letters are B, A, and T. And speech sounds are also 3 in number. They are sound B, B, and T. Similarly, in the word skip, there are 4 letters S, K, I, P, and it has corresponding speech sound. They too are 4 in number. They are S, K, I, and P. That is P. But in case of a spoon, when we take into consideration the word spoon, what we find, this English word spoon has the spelling, or it has got 5 letters in the written form, S, P, O, O, N. But it has only 4 speech sounds, because when you phonetically transcribe it, when you present the phonetic transcription of the word S, P, O, O, N, then it will be written as S, P, and long U and N. This sound, it means here in this example, what happens, that the number of sounds in this particular word does not correspond to the number of letters in this word, and this difference is studied in phonetics. Thus, we can conclude that phonetics is the study of the articulation or the production of speech sound. Phonetics is the study of how sounds are transmitted from one person to the other. And phonetics is the study of the reception of speech sounds, that is how a listener receives those sounds. And at the same time, phonetics is the classification of speech sounds into vowels and consonants. On the basis of this, we can say very firmly that phonetics is the part of linguistics which studies the speech sound, and phonetics is the systematic study of the production, or you can say articulation, or the transmission and reception of sounds and classification at the same time. There are three branches of phonetics. They are articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetics, and auditory phonetics. As far as the matter of articulatory phonetics is concerned, it is the study of the mechanism of the speech sounds, which we study by means of organs of speech and vocal cords. Acoustic phonetics studies sound waves. Acoustic phonetics studies the physical way in which sound waves are transmitted from one person to another person. As far as auditory phonetics, the last the last branch of phonetics is concerned, it can be said that this branch of phonetics deals with the subject of perception of sounds and how those sounds are received by the listeners. So far I have talked about the phonetics and its fundamentals, that is language and linguistics, and at the same time I talked about the different branches of linguistics. Boys and girls, it would be to commit dishonesty if I do not speak as to why the study of phonetics is very much important here these days. Don't forget, this is the age of globalization, and this age of globalization has given birth to international migration, and this international migration generates the need of learning new languages, and phonetics is the study of the different sounds. When we study phonetics, we are able to understand as to how to capture a particular language. At the same time, the knowledge of phonetics enables a person to have the differences between the varieties of languages. For example, there is some difference between the British English and American English or Australian English. Boys and girls, now in order to recapitulate, I would like to take the help of some of the slides prepared by me, and it will help you in recapitulation also. So let us come and recapitulate the things what has been done by me. I do not feel any difficulty in understanding all the things I have described a few minutes ago, and if you feel any difficulty, I am sure of this, that all those difficulties will melt away when you go through some of the slides I have prepared for you. Let us come to the slides. Boys and girls, I have prepared some slides for you, and I am sure of it that these slides will help you in understanding or in having the conceptions regarding phonetics and its branches. As I have said that phonetics is the component of linguistics. Now you see here in this slide I have shown components of linguistics, and components of linguistics are 5 in number: phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, and semantics. Let me explain. Phonetics is the part of linguistics which studies the speech sound. Phonology is the part of linguistics which studies how sounds function in a language, and morphology is concerned with word structures. Syntax is related to sentence structure, and meaning comes into the periphery of semantics. So this was the general introduction regarding the components of linguistics, and through this slide I have shown as to how phonetics is one of the components of linguistics. I am sure of it, you must not have felt any sort of difficulty in understanding. So one thing which is to be kept in mind, that phonetics is the part of linguistics, or phonetics is one of the components of linguistics which studies speech sound. Now, what is phonetics? In order to make you understand, go through in slide number 2. Phonetics is the scientific study of, learn it by one. Phonetics is the scientific study of the production of speech sound. Phonetics is the study of the transmission of speech sound. Phonetics is the study of the reception of speech sounds. And if you go through, I was going through a book of new edition. There the writer is from English and Foreign Language University. He has added another thing, and he says that phonetics, he has stated that phonetics is not only the production, the transmission, the reception of speech sound, but also the classification of speech sounds into vowels and consonants. This is a new thing that I got, and that I am going to share with you. So, boys and girls, I made you learn with the help of slide number 1 that phonetics is one of the components of linguistics, and here in slide number 2, I am going to make you understand that phonetics is the production, the transmission, the reception, and the classification of speech sounds into vowels and consonants. Let us come to the next slide, with the help of which I would like to illustrate the idea of phonetics. In due course of my lecture, I had made it a point as to how 3 words were taken by me, and with the help of those 3 words, I tried to go into your mind. Those 3 words are bat, skin, and spoon. The English word bat has 3 letters, and it has 3 sounds: b, a, and t, that is b, a, t. Second one, you see, the English word skin has 4 letters, and it has the 4 sounds s, k, small I, and n. These are the 4 sounds. Now, the difficulty or the dissimilarity arose when we took the example of the word spoon. The English word spoon is made up of 4 speech sounds, but it does not correspond to its spelling, because in the spelling it has got 5 letters. They are S, P, O, N. These two O are pronounced as long U. So the English word spoon is made up of 4 speech sounds. These are S, P, long U, and N. Here the point to remember is that in phonetics we deal with speech sounds, and we should make a clear distinction. Here we should make a clear distinction between letters of the alphabet and speech sounds. Now come to the Branches of phonetics. Here in this slide I have shown the branches of phonetics. A few minutes ago I had said you that here you can take the example of this one also, as to how branches of phonetics means. From phonetics we have this linguistics, components of linguistics. Now from components of linguistics we have phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax and syntax. And phonetics has got three branches, and they are articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetics and auditory phonetics. Articulatory phonetics studies the production of different sounds with the help of speech organs and the vocal cords, whereas acoustic phonetics studies sound waves. It also studies the physical way in which the sounds are transmitted from one person to another. And as far as the matter of auditory phonetics is concerned, it studies the mechanism of perception of sounds and how they are received by the listeners. So we have learned components of linguistics and phonetics as to how to grasp phonetics, and we have understood branches of phonetics. Means in the third slide I showed you the branches of phonetics. Now in order to recapitulate the idea, I would like to say so far what we have understood so far. We have discussed so far we have discussed the points which were discussed by me. In order to recapitulate the idea, I would say that I have discussed the idea of phonetics and branches of phonetics, but before that I have also hit the fundamentals, language and linguistics. Now after the recapitulation, now this is the time to present before you the points to remember. In order to wind up my lecture, now I would like to present before you some of the important points which are to be kept in mind by you. Now if someone asks you as to what did you learn from this class, at least you must be in a position to say that at least these things are in my mind. And in order to have that, let us have those important points. Those points to remember are: phonetics is one of the components of linguistics. Linguistics is a systematic study of languages. Language is God's best gift to human beings. A language is a system consisting of speech sounds and letters of the alphabet. Phonetics is the scientific study of the production, transmission and reception of speech sounds. My boys and girls, of course, I have presented before you the recapitulation of my lesson, but don't forget that if you want to understand phonetics and its branches properly, you shall have to water the root. And so once again, in order to have a happy ending of my lecture, I would like to read out the lines, those lines. Don't forget those lines. If you want in the plant, leaves be green, flowers bloom, and it be laden with fruit. If you want in the plant, leaves be green, flowers bloom, and it be laden with fruit, pour water into the root, pour water into the root. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.